Introducing a new series. This is going to be ranking every U.S. state shape by how good it would be for an ice cream cone. We will be able to flip the state sideways or upside down, whatever's the most suitable position for a cone. Here we go. Number 50 is a no-brainer. It's Hawaii. This isn't even a cone. It's just crumbs from the cone. There's no way we can get ice cream in these. 49 is Maryland. Even if we flip it sideways, this portion right here is so thin, your cone's going to break, your ice cream's going to fall on the floor, and you're going to be sad. 48, Rhode Island. My ice cream cone is broken before I even started it. 47, Alaska. Now this one's not broken yet, but the second I touch either of these parts of the cone, it's going to, and ice cream's going to leak out the bottom. 46, Michigan. Yes, you can hold a good amount of ice cream here, but the Upper Peninsula is just breaking right off. 45, Florida. Now I feel like this portion is fine, but if you have any ice cream over here, the cone is just going to break because it's too heavy. 44, California. This is another one where the base is fine, but the curve right here is going to make it very susceptible to breaking. 43, New Jersey. Now at first glance, this one doesn't seem too bad, but the way it leans, the top scoop is just going to fall right off, and right here in the middle, it's easily breakable. 42, Massachusetts. Now we're going to turn this one sideways and make this the bottom of the cone. It's not terrible, but I'm just worried about this area breaking. 41, Tennessee. Now we're also going to turn this one sideways, and it's a decent shape, but it's just way too thin. You're hardly going to get any ice cream. 40 is Oklahoma. We're going to turn this sideways, make this the bottom and this the top. Now this one's going to be very difficult to eat. You're going to have to hold the top portion as you're eating it, because if you hold it down here, this thing's snapping off. 39, Minnesota. Now, yeah, you're going to get a ton of ice cream, and it'd be pretty easy to hold right here in the middle, but I do worry about the weight balance. If you have too much ice cream over here, this thing's going to break. 38, Washington. We're going to flip this one on the side and make this the bottom. This is just another one that I'm a little worried it might break. 37, Mississippi. This is another one I'm worried about breaking. The side is already crumbling, and down here below, if I try to hold it by that, that's probably going to tip and fall. 36, Arkansas. This one has a stronger base than the last one, but the side is also already crumbling. 35 is Oregon. We're going to have to start eliminating the square states. Yes, you could make an ice cream cone bowl out of it, but we're trying to make an actual ice cream cone, so it's got to go. 34, Wyoming. Same thing, it's just a square. 33, Colorado. Same thing as Wyoming. 32, Utah. Now this one's a little bit better for a cone since it's taller, but just not ideal to be holding since it's square. 31, North Dakota. We're going to turn it on the side and make this the top. Better than what we've seen, but not great for a cone. 30 is Kansas. Obviously, we'd flip this one on the side. It's not terrible, but we got to get rid of these square states. Ice cream cones aren't square. 29, Montana. We'd flip this one on the side, make this the top. Not terrible again, but we don't want the bottom of our cone to be flat. 28, South Dakota. Same thing, another square state, so gotta go. Except on this one, we do have this small area that would be the bottom of our cone that the melted ice cream could drain to. 27, Connecticut, same thing with our melted ice cream draining right here. 26, Nebraska, same thing, flipping it on the side, and we have some area for the melted ice cream to drain to. 25, New Mexico, maybe a little difficult to hold, but again, good drainage. 24, Missouri, okay, we're starting to get a little bit more like ice cream cones, and this is another one that has our little melted ice cream spot. 23, Arizona. I like how this one angles up from the bottom. We're getting somewhere, starting to look a little bit like an ice cream cone. 22, Iowa. Flip this one on the side, make this the bottom. Again, we've got the smaller bottom area that gets larger as we go to the top. 21, Ohio. The only concern here is it's just a little too wide, might be difficult to hold, but I like the concept. We got the bottom here kind of narrow and then widens as we get to the top. 20 is Louisiana. Maybe a little surprising it made it this far because it isn't necessarily ice cream cone shape, but I just love the idea of this one because you could fill this thing up with ice cream. 19, Alabama. I'd probably flip this one upside down. It's smaller at the bottom and then would get larger as we reach the top. This one would also be pretty easy to hold. 18, North Carolina. I'd flip this one on the side, making this the bottom, and I love that portion of the cone. That is excellent. The only area of concern is right here. It might make the weight a little uneven. 17, Virginia. Like North Carolina, I would flip this one on the side, make this part the bottom, and I love that area. Only concern here is this side might be susceptible to tipping. 16, Idaho. You just flip this one upside down, and it's looking pretty good for an ice cream cone, but like the last couple, my only concern is there might not be much support for this side. 15, Maine. I really like this one. This is the bottom of the cone. This is the top. The only concern is the side is starting to crumble, but other than that, this one's great. 14, Wisconsin, a good base, gets larger as we reach the top. My only concern with this one is I don't love an ice cream cone having a flat bottom. 13, Pennsylvania, I'd flip this one on the side, make this the bottom. What I love about this one is the top of the cone has almost like a built-in spot for the ice cream scoop. That would be perfect right there. 12 is Georgia. Flip this one upside down, and we are looking good. Narrow base, gets wider as we reach the top of the cone. 11, Texas. Maybe surprising it made it this far, but I just think this one would be super easy to hold right here on the bottom, and the weight is pretty evenly balanced throughout, and this thing would hold a ton of ice cream. Number 10 is Delaware. Flip this one upside down, and we are sitting pretty for an ice cream cone. The only reason it's knocked out here is because it's so much thinner than the other remaining cones, so you'd get less ice cream. Number 9 is Kentucky. Roll this one to the left, making this the bottom, and you've got a great ice cream cone. The only concern is it's not perfectly even, but I think you'd be fine. Number 8 is South Carolina. Exactly the concept you need in an ice cream cone. Smaller at the bottom, wider at the top. Only reason it's knocked out here, though, is because it's just a little bit too wide at the top. Number 7, Indiana. Nice triangle at the bottom for the melted ice cream to drain to. Seems like it'd be very easy to hold. 6 is West Virginia. This one sneakily made it near the top of the list because if you just slightly adjust it to the right, making this the bottom and this the top, you have almost like 2 walls near the top to hold in lots of scoops. 5 is Nevada. A lot of room for ice cream at the top. Gets narrow as we reach the bottom, so pretty easy to hold. 4 is New Hampshire. Flip this one upside down, and we are looking pretty close to an ice cream cone. Number 3 is Illinois. Obviously, the shape is ice cream cone-like, and this thing would be so easy to hold. It's like built-in finger slots right here, here, and here. Number 2 is New York, and I really debated putting this one at number 1. You flip it on the side, make this the bottom, this the top, and what I would love about this one, this little edge right here would help you be able to stack up so many scoops. And number 1, it's gotta be Vermont. Just take a look at that. I mean, that literally looks like an ice cream cone.